My 7 Series I owned for 3 months, and in those 3 months I learned a lot about the BMW 7 Series N63 engine. Mine was going bad, and it was going bad at 50,000 miles. Welcome to BMW ownership. It's never easy. It was October 2016, and it was time for me to buy my first ever BMW. But you see, I was skipping straight to the top, straight to a 2011 750 Li X-Drive. And if that doesn't make it sound pompous, I don't know what does. The thing is, though, I didn't know much about this car. I just liked it. And honestly, as we've learned through many luxury cars, such as our Range Rover, our BMW 4 Series, and even our Infiniti, getting into a car without knowing any of the issues or any of the things to expect is not good. And the biggest thing to expect when it comes to a BMW 750 Li or any 50i model of a BMW is, well, the engine. And specifically the N63 V8, which is BMW's 4.4-liter V8 with 402 horsepower that you can find in every 5 Series, 6 Series, 7 Series, X5, and X6 that ends in 50i. So 750i, 650i, 550i, for example, all have this engines. And also they had the N63 if they were developed between 2008 and 2013. So many issues occur with this engine, by the way, that BMW actually did a voluntary recall for it, dubbed the Customer Care Program. Now this Customer Care Program is a major service and will take multiple days to complete. I mean, we're talking about the fuel injectors, mass airflow sensor, battery, crankcase vent line, fuel pressure sensor, engine vacuum pump, and timing chain. Yeah, you heard me right. All of that is covered under this Customer Care Program. In addition to that, they go ahead and change the amount of time you should come in for your BMW service from like the lifetime BMW coverage to every 10,000 miles or once a year. Even if your car is 5 years out of warranty and has 200,000 miles on it, it is included with this. After all, it is a recall, even though they don't call it that. That means if you have a BMW with an N63 engine in it, you need to contact BMW and see if this service is available to you. It might have been done by a previous owner already. They'll be able to look at your VIN and pull all that information up. And while dealers were supposed to let people know about this program, many of them didn't. So just because you might assume a previous owner did it doesn't mean you should. So that's why it's important, even if you've had your car for a year or two, to still call and make sure this was done. And it's no cost to you, so there really is no reason not to do it. The thing here is, though, that dealers were supposed to let people know, but they didn't have to. And BMW didn't send out letters or anything like that because it's a voluntary recall. It's not something you have to come do. And because of that, they're not required to send you any information about it. Now, you might be wondering, I thought valve stems were the big issue with these engines, and well, they are, but BMW never wants to admit that. They're willing to admit all of these other things have problems and cause problems with the engine, but not the valve stems. And while all of this service is supposed to mitigate those valve stem issues, the nasty little valve stems are still there causing their problem and are not replaced during this. So with that being said, you should probably go ahead and ask your BMW service center while they're doing all of this maintenance if they could do the valve stems. Some are willing to do it for quite a cheap price because they're already in the engine. Some will want to charge you full price, and if that's the case, well, welcome to BMW ownership. It's never easy. But it is something you need to ask your service center if, hey, I know these valve stems go out on the N62 engines, which is actually the previous engine, we'll talk about that here in a second, and the N63 engines, which is under the Customer Care Program. So can we go ahead and maybe do this? And you know, you're already in the engine. I know a lot of the parts around that are already going to be taken off. Could we just go ahead and do it and maybe get a little bit of a labor, discount? And many of them will be able to work with you, and the parts for this actually aren't bad. About $500 max. Many of you will probably think that's insane, but that's the max you'll pay on it. Now you might be thinking, Nick, you've been talking about 2008 to 2013 BMWs. Well, I want a 2007 7 Series, so I'm good here. Well, I hate to tell you that the N62 engine also has those same valve stem issues we were just talking about, and it's not included in the Customer Care Program, meaning you're gonna have all the same issues without having any of the help of that Customer Care Program to fix them. So you're going to be paying out of pocket. Newer BMW models, though, are supposed to have this issue fixed. So if you're looking at 2014 to, well, any present BMW 2018, 2019 when this video is coming out, then you are going to be able to most likely get a car and be okay. Especially if it has a warranty, you'll be covered. However, time will really only tell, because at first, people thought the valve stem issue was fixed on the N63 as well, until it wasn't. If you buy a 40i, you're going to be able to get all the features, especially if you buy a well-spec'd one, that the 50i models have without the issue of a V8, and instead the issues of an inline-six, which, while there are still issues, they are much less, and you don't have to worry about the engine smoking or grenading itself eventually. So overall, should you buy an N62 or an N63 BMW? Probably not. And if you do, make sure it's one that's serviced regularly. And I don't mean on what BMW considered regular. I mean every 5,000 to 7,500 miles for an oil change. That's going to seem insane, and it'll be hard to find one like that, but if you do, I can almost guarantee the valve stems will be in much better condition than one that was stretched for 15,000 miles. I can also guarantee that you're still, again, better off buying the 740 or the 40i model in general. My 7 Series I owned for 3 months, and in those 3 months I learned a lot about the BMW 7 Series N63 engine. Mine was going bad, and it was going bad at 50,000 miles because it wasn't serviced properly. Well, it was at every 15,000 miles, and because of that, the valve stems were going bad, and overall, I wouldn't recommend getting one of these cars. And it had some other things going wrong with it. I fixed all the other things, didn't fix the valve stems before selling the car. Those other things cost me $4,000. Not to mention there was a headlight that was going bad in it. The angel eye light was out. It had some water in it, and well, that would have been another $3,000, in addition to many other things. If you're gonna buy one of these cars, keep a monthly budget of at least $1,000. That's going to most likely be okay. And I'm not talking about $1,000 for the car overall. I'm talking about for maintenance. And if you do that, you'll be pretty good. And sure, some of you may disagree with me, but I cannot recommend buying an N62 or N63 BMW.